What is up, everyone? It is double game week, it is blank game week, whatever you want to call it. Double and blank game week 25 is here, and here are my first transfer plans.
Welcome back, everyone. FPL Harry here. Game week 25 is finally here. The week we've had sort of in our minds, we've been looking at as the blank week, and then we got the double game week added. We're going to have a look at my first transfer plans for this blank double game week that we've got, of course. I've got 2 free transfers like you, like a lot of people. I rolled my transfer going into game week 24, so I have a little bit more flexibility with my squad and what I want to do with it going into this blank double game week. I also have 0.7 million in the bank. It's not loads of flexibility there, but I do have a couple of transfers on my mind. Now, looking at how my squad lines up, some of you might not have a full 11, some of you might have more than 11, some of you will be asking, Harry, how many players do you think I need for this game week? So I ran a few polls on Twitter to get basically what the ideal scenario is. The average person is going to be taking a -4 this week, and the average person will have just about 11 players, between 10 and 11 players in there. Probably 11 if you start to include the likes of Patterson, Bueno, Greenwood, who are unlikely to play and get a considerable amount of points, but 10 if you don't start to include those. So have a look at your squad. I would advise against playing your free hit this week. That again will be a question that you guys are asking quite a lot in the comments, I imagine. I think unless you've got less than 8, I wouldn't be playing your free hit this week, and I don't think there are that many of us that will really have less than 8 players once you start including the likes of Patterson, Bueno, and maybe Greenwood up front as well. So my team does have a full 11, so on paper it looks okay, but when you start to delve into it, I do have Patterson, who's yellow flagged. He did play 65 minutes with the under-21s for Everton on Friday night. He did look like he came off with a bit of a knock, but Patterson seemed to confirm on Twitter that he's okay. We also have Greenwood up front, and he's only been getting between sort of 10 and 1 minutes for Leeds, and it's possible he doesn't come on at all if that is the case. So yes, I have a full 11 in here, but 2 of them I'm not that confident on getting virtually any minutes and maybe getting more than 3 points combined from the 2 of those players. Now, elsewhere, we've got Kepa in goal, the most highly owned goalkeeper at the moment. He does have Tottenham. Chelsea are falling by the wayside, it feels, once again, so not particularly pleased with him, but I'm not going to start Danny Ward again because Leicester for me are not performing well enough defensively. Moving into defence, we do have Kilman with the double. We do have Ben White as well, 2 new transfers in as well in there. So Ben White I'm not that happy with. I think Tomiyasu may end up starting one of them, but it's quite hard to call. Ben White did come back in for that Villa game, but it wasn't the best performance from them. In midfield, it's okay. We have Kevin De Bruyne at the moment. He didn't look that great in that Nottingham Forest game. He missed a couple of chances. He created a few, could have had some returns, but nothing for him there. Riyad Mahrez was on the bench when they dropped points. I do expect him to come back in for this Bournemouth game. Now, we then have the double-double. We have Saka, we have Odegaard. I'm very happy with these two, both getting returns in game week 24. I think Saka is fine. I think we've heard reports that he's fine. He did pick up a knock quite early on in that Arsenal versus Aston Villa game. He did come back on. He did have a bit of a sit-down later on, but he did play the full 90 minutes in the end. So my midfield is fine. Again, Kevin De Bruyne could be an easy way to go and get Liverpool assets in, for example, but if I didn't change them, that would be fine. Then up front, it is Erling Haaland. We then have Harry Kane, and Harry Kane's going to be an interesting one this week. It might depend on whether Darwin Núñez is fit. He did pick up a knock. He did pick up a shoulder injury in their 2-0 win against Newcastle on Saturday. So we could end up moving Harry Kane to Darwin Núñez, and I think that might be a popular move. But from game week 26 onwards, we're going to have a lot of people wanting Harry Kane back in their teams. And then, of course, we have Greenwood. There's no one on the bench that can play apart from Danny Ward. It's okay. I'm on a small red arrow at the moment. We have the Tottenham game left to play. I need a miracle from Harry Kane if I'm to move from a green arrow. This game week doesn't look that great because I do have those sort of 2 bench players that don't have that much reliability in terms of minutes and points. But my team's okay. I, in theory, have a full 11, but I am planning quite a few transfers this week. So at the moment, I am actually planning a -4, and that would be 3 transfers. And again, that would put me quite in line with what I think the average person is doing. So the first one would be that Kevin De Bruyne to Mo Salah move. Now, if Darwin Núñez is back, I might decide to go with Darwin Núñez. It helps my squad structure a little bit more if I go with Darwin over going with Mo Salah because of the cheap forward slot that I then have to fill by upgrading and going and selling Greenwood and going and getting Gnonto, which is the bottom transfer you have here. So Kevin De Bruyne to Mo Salah and then Greenwood to Gnonto are 2 great transfers. And if I could do them for free, then I would. However, unfortunately, I don't have the money in the bank to go and do that. So it means I have to add another transfer in. And actually the transfer in at the moment is selling Luke Shaw. After the blanking game with 25, where of course Manchester United don't play, they do have that difficult fixture where Liverpool, they then are also likely to blank in game with 28 as well. So selling Luke Shaw, as great as he's been, I don't think it's necessarily such a bad thing. Now, I could downgrade him and go with the likes of Tarkowski, for example, and then not play Patterson and have him on my bench, given I don't think he's going to play a lot of minutes. However, I look at the Everton double and I don't particularly like it that much. So I am eyeing up actually just doing Luke Shaw to probably Pinnock. It could be Henry. It could even be Ben Mee of Brentford, and going and adding in a player that I think is going to double well going into game week 27 when they have their double, and planning ahead a little bit in freeing up that money. I was going to go with Stupinan of Brighton, but he looks like he's picked up a minor injury. It is a minor injury, but we need to make sure he's going to be back by game week 27 if I was to go and buy him. So Luke Shaw down to a Brentford defender is probably the way that I would look to free up money. Now, that is a -4 involving a transfer to bring in the blank player for a blank player, but it would allow me to add Mo Salah, and it would allow me to add Gnonto, who is also good in game week 28 when Leeds are likely to play. Not confirmed yet, but they are still likely to play. So those are 3 planned transfers for me. And if we have a look at how my team would then line up, it does start to look a little bit better, but I'm not sure it's massively improved come a -4 in my team. So again, we still have Patterson in here. Pinnock, who comes in for Luke Shaw, goes straight onto my bench because, of course, he doesn't have a fixture. Mo Salah comes in here, and I do think with the Champions League around, he's the most likely Liverpool player to play both in the double game week. And I think the average player is going to have between 1, probably close to 2 double game week players, and it might depend on Darwin is fit, but people will be looking at Trent in defence, which I just have no real way to get to unless I do decide to sell Harry Kane, and it would probably end up being a -8 as well. I do bring in Mo Salah. He is then likely to get the captaincy armband as well. It could end up on Bukayo Saka for his double as well. He's currently going to be my vice captain, and then Gnonto does come in up front. So this squad for -4 looks fine. I'm reasonably happy with it. The only thing is I don't have double Liverpool. The only thing with that is Liverpool then walk into a Manchester United fixture in game week 26. And given the way Liverpool have been performing generally, yes, they beat Newcastle 2-0. But generally, I don't really want loads of Liverpool assets going up against Manchester United. So although it doesn't necessarily look as great this week as some of the other people's teams might be, I don't necessarily hate it going into game week 26 and beyond as well. Now, Patterson looks like he could just be an issue going forward generally, and I could have an issue with, again, Coleman scoring in game week 24 isn't ideal. I did potentially consider another hit going from Patterson to Tarkowski, but I have been priced out of that move with the other moves that we've got here. So I can't do that. So it would have to involve just starting Patterson, hoping he does get on the pitch, which isn't ideal. So these are my current transfer plans. I am going to have a look on the fitness of Darwin Núñez as well, about whether I think he's going to play, plus the minutes that the Liverpool guys get in the Champions League as well, whether I think that they're likely to play both in the double game week, given that they have Newcastle, then they have the Champions League, then they have a double game week, and then they play Manchester United as well. That is a lot of minutes for all of them to start playing in the likes of Trent, Darwin, even Salah. There is a bit of a rotation risk in there, so not going too heavy in them. Doesn't look great on paper, but it could end up being okay. So here are my first transfer plans. Let me know if you have any questions about your team in the comment section down below. What are you planning? How many Liverpool assets are you planning on getting for this week? If you would add in Darwin, if you would add in Trent, let me know in the comments down below. We're going to try and hit 1,000 likes on the video as well. Thank you all so much for your support recently. Good luck with your tinkering this week. There is a lot to do. There is a lot of planning to take place for our future transfers, not just this week, going into game week 27 as well. So thank you all so much for watching. Like and subscribe before you go, and I'll be back again very soon.